everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Sports Department Podcast. I am Stephen Bologna, joined alongside our very good friend of the podcast, an NHL expert, Josh Trattini. We have not done one of these in a while, Josh. How you doing?
We haven't done one in a while, but I'm glad to get back into it. I'm excited for the season. Divisions are back to normal. Teams are going to be playing more outside of their small little bubble that they had to be in, per se, with the East Coast. Now the Rangers get to go to Canada. Rangers get to go elsewhere, so it's exciting to see.
Yeah, season starts tomorrow. It is currently Monday, October 11th. Tomorrow night, we have our reigning Stanley Cup champions, Tampa Bay Lightning, taking on the Penguins. And then our two most recent expansion teams, the Kraken, going to Vegas. And I'm surprised the Kraken weren't home for that game because that would have been pretty cool. But nevertheless, NHL season is back. In this podcast, we're going to go over all the New York teams and New Jersey as well. Get a little division preview and the winners of them, Stanley Cup champion, and then MVP. So let's start off, Josh, with our team, the New York Rangers. And
yes, sir.
What a shakeup. Going into last season, expectations were to at least make the playoffs. They did not. They finished 27, 23, and 6. And then they fired their team president, head coach. So they're going with a new shakeup here. And not really, going into the offseason, it was kind of expected they would go hard at Jack Eichel. And it seems that Buffalo was a little hesitant to trade away Eichel. Nevertheless, news broke yesterday. They re-signed Mika Zibanejad to an 8-year deal on an $8.5 million a year average. They have Igor Shesterkin to be their expected goalkeeper now, and they traded for Ryan Reeves. So a couple of moves here and there, but just give me your overall thoughts on the offseason for the Rangers.
Oh, God, I don't even know where to begin. It's an emotional roller coaster. Right when the season was coming to an end last season, after Tom Wilson basically did inappropriate, speechless things to the New York Rangers organization, the players, especially smashing Panarin's head into the ice. They released a statement, the organization, saying how they are, try to get a bit of a quote for you here. The New York Rangers are extremely disappointed that the Capitals forward Tom Wilson was not suspended for his horrifying act of violence last night at Madison Square Garden. And they go on to say how Wilson is a repeat offender with these, inappropriate plays, always doing something, a little dirty. And believe it or not, the next day, our owner made a careless decision to release both Jeff Garden and John Davidson from the team. And now they have Chris Drury to take over the role as both positions. But one thing they do like is they hired Gerard Gallen. Gerard Gallen, I think, is a great coach. He did so much for Florida, and he did so much for Vegas, especially when Vegas first came in and they were the expansion team, led them to the Stanley Cup inaugural season. Many quotes such as Jaromir Jagr saying he was a tough guy, respectful, told you how it is, but was also very, nice about about how, his opinion on you on and off the ice. So expect the Rangers to be, a little bit more a tough team this year, especially with many key additions such as Ryan Reeves, Tenorti. They also got Goodrow, who is, I think, a little bit bad contract, but we can get to that a little bit later. But going back to the toughness, the Rangers decided to go with, try to get people to fear them rather than go for skill this offseason. They wanted, their prize possessions like Zibanejad, like Panarin, not to be bullied around teams like the Capitals, who opening night, they've already released the starting lineup. And it's interesting to see who's actually there. It's basically looks like they're just trying to go for the Capitals' heads at this point.
Yeah. The biggest thing for the Rangers last year, we would talk about it every game. It would be Rangers leading by 1 goal going into the third period, letting up a goal early in the third, and then blowing it in either overtime or 2 minutes left to go in the game. The defense was such a major problem. And they did make a couple additions. Adam Fox is, he's in the conversation for best defenseman in the NHL. And last year was so weird, too, because you had the whole Panarin having to take the leave of absence to get his family out of Russia.
A lot of different stuff he had to go through.
Lafreniere got a goal and got a year under his belt. Kakko now, you expect to make that jump.
Kakko looks bigger this offseason.
Yeah.
Kakko looked like he put on some mass, and he looks a little stronger. We watched him in this offseason. He does look a little bit tougher. He looks a lot more confident than most players right now on this team. So I'm excited to see what Kakko pull off this year. I'm expecting big things.
and this is a Ranger team with a lot of young talent that can explode and get you into the playoffs, or at the same time, they're still a young team. So
Yes.
could still be a little raw. Now, it seemed they made the bubble, as we remember, 2 years ago, and then last year missed the playoffs. And
They
now
were in
it's
a tough division last year with the whole COVID protocols and the
yeah,
realignment for the divisions. And if I'm mistaken, points wise, they would have been in the playoffs in almost any other division. But of
sure.
course, we were in one of the toughest ones. So again, this is going to be a good team this year. Again, it's still going to be hard for them to make the playoffs, but I won't be surprised if they can get in as a wild card. I think that's where their ceiling is right now this year as a wild card.
I feel like they have to. I mean, you can't have a team with such talent just not go anywhere. Hopefully, Shesterkin steps up a little bit. Is Georgiev the backup? I assume
Yes,
they'll
he's still
uh,
back.
they'll do their splitting time.
Igor's gonna have a great year. I like Igor. I don't think there's gonna be too much going wrong with him. Georgiev is still a nice backup that we have for one more year under his contract. So I expect the goalies to be fine. Defense should be okay. It's just that third and fourth line is gonna be a little tough. Not much skill there. It's more physical, more just to beat up on some of the other top line guys going forward. But that's the only issue I have running into it is you don't have Pavel Buchnevich anymore, who was a top six forward in the league. So that is why a minor inconvenience right now for the Rangers. It's something they're going to have to face going forward when they have to play the stronger teams who have a lot of skilled players.
Yeah, I'm looking at their projected lineup, and you bring up the third and fourth line. Philip Hedel on that third line, Ryan Reeves on the fourth line. Keandre Miller hopefully can start to. He was a very
Keandre,
high draft pick, so
he's
hopefully,
a young guy. He's only 21 years old in the league. He's still with the entry level contract. So and he's somebody who we weren't really expecting, I don't think, to come up last year. So this is like now his kind of full season to kick into gear.
yeah. No, Rangers are definitely kind of middle of the pack. They're not the worst team, but they're also
No.
pretty far from the best team. So this is again another building year, but this is the year you want to see them take the next step and get into the
Yes.
playoffs and see that young talent start to blossom. So hopefully
Hmm.
they do. And I think Panarin's got to be an MVP candidate, right?
Yeah. His only challenge is, you still have Connor McDavid in the league. That
Oh
doesn't help.
yeah,
Leon Draisaitl's still there. Nathan McKinnon, who I think may or may not be my favorite. We'll get there when we get there. But there's still people ahead of him. But yes, Panarin is definitely would probably be in the top five, at least not top seven consideration.
we'll see what happens with the Rangers. Hopefully they take the next step. Do you have a record prediction for them or your prediction for the
Not
season?
off the top of my head, a final record, but I do see them being at least a first or second wild card team. Probably a little bit more towards the second because with you have that a strong Atlantic division where you still have Tampa Bay, you have
Yeah,
Toronto, you have Boston, you have Florida, and then you have to come down to the Metropolitan Division where the Rangers still have to battle out for just some breadcrumbs to hopefully get in the top three. Uh, but if they could find a way to stay healthy, stay strong, if other teams maybe don't stay as healthy as them and they kind of fall off a little bit in a few games span, that would be the Rangers to capitalize. But the Rangers cannot go on a losing streak for a long period of time.
no, absolutely. And you have to beat up on the Devils too, because they got rough at times against the Devils. But speaking of the Devils, let's move on to them. A team
Yep.
that finished last in the Metro yet again. Not looked at as the best team, but they did make a few big signings. They grabbed top defenseman on the market, Dougie Hamilton. I believe that was a 7 or 8 year deal. So hopefully he can lead that defensive front for them. Last year they went 19, 30, and 7. Um, again, this is a team that's in the bottom half of the league, but with
Yes.
also some young talent. I mean, Nico Hischier, former first overall pick, Jack Hughes. So, what are your thoughts on them? And I think the goalie situation has to be the most concerning for them.
Yeah, absolutely. The Devils' situation right now is just it's with the goalies. They're gonna need some luck, I would say, if they want any chance to get into the playoff spot. For them, this is just another rebuild year. This is a chance now just to see what, say, maybe Blackwood could do going forward if he might be the starter. I don't see that's the case. They still have a lot of young talent too. They add a veteran defenseman in there, a good presence in the locker room to have with Dougie Hamilton. Uh, but again, their just team does not have a full, strongly built roster to do any damage in this league.
Yeah, and I mean, Kyle Palmieri, he's He's no longer around. They dumped him off last year. Again, you look at the defense. They still have PK Subban. They've been trying to trade that contract for a few years now. But again, it's always been the defense for this team. And, Mackenzie Blackwood, he's shown some promise, but definitely not to put you over the edge. But, I am expecting Devils to most likely finish last in the division this year.
Near the last, I would say maybe Columbus goes underneath them, but
Really?
they're definitely not. Yeah, I just don't see Columbus.
They got
doing
rid of
too well.
Tortorella, right? Columbus. Didn't they get rid of him or no?
Off the top of my head, I can't remember with this.
I want to say yes, because then that's who I thought the Rangers were going to go for as their coach.
I forget off the top of my head.
Yeah.
I don't think he's there anymore, to be honest.
Yeah, I don't think so either. And now another year for Lindy Ruff as head coach, his second year as coach for the Devils. So, again, probably another rough year for the Devils, but you really want – I expect Jack Hughes to take over the franchise as the leader this season. He looked at times really, really good last year.
Yeah.
They even drafted his brother this year in the first 5 picks in the draft, Luke Hughes. And then Nico Hischier another one. I mean, he's shown some promise, but not what you expected from a first overall pick. I mean, was that the Nolan Patrick year or no? Or
what
was
year?
I think Hischier was
who are we talking about?
Nico.
Yeah,
Hischier.
Nico was first, then Nolan.
Oh, man, that is I mean, Nolan Patrick is far, far worse, but I'm pretty sure that's what it was. Yeah.
Nolan Patrick was in the same draft class with Nico.
Did he ever? I'm pretty sure Nolan Patrick's off the Flyers, right?
Yeah, Nolan Patrick's off the Flyers.
Embarrassing for a second overall pick, but
Nolan Patrick's now with Vegas.
Oh, that's a nice little pickup for them. Hopefully, he can pop.
Yeah, I think he'll do well there with the more veterans. I think he's in the bottom 6 forwards over there, but that's where he's going to be meant to be. He's like a 3rd round forward.
Yeah. So the last of the New York, I guess technically not last of the New York teams.
Right.
I don't even want to talk about Buffalo because they are just a crapshoot. The New York Islanders, another team that made a pretty good run in the postseason last year, unable to get the job done.
Yep.
32 and 17
from being a Stanley Cup.
32 and 17 in the regular season. Went to the Stanley Cup. Almost went to the Stanley Cup.
Yeah,
fell just short to the Lightning, in which a series that was expected to be a sweep by Tampa Bay. But the Lightning, just another Islanders, another good team, coached well, have their playmakers, and you have to expect a repeat of last year, right?
Oh, absolutely. Islanders are taking this division without a doubt. This is, I think, not to say a do or die season for them, but I really think that this is the season the Islanders finally get to the Stanley Cup. They had a good key veteran presence with Zdeno Chara. They had Zach Parise. So that's going to be helping the defense right there, helping the offense a little bit for Zach Parise to be on the 3rd line with Pajot. So if the Islanders don't get it done this year, well, maybe they have, I think, another year left in them. But I think, without a doubt, if the Islanders stay healthy, they have great goaltending with Varlamov back there and their rookie, Sosworkin, that they, without a doubt, are the best team. Probably one of the best teams in the East, if not, let alone the Metro.
Yeah, it's got to be up there with them and Tampa Bay. But I agree with you. I do expect the Islanders to win the Metropolitan Division pretty easily. I mean, Carolina's a good team in there. You always got to wonder about the Capitals and the Bruins too, because they're just pains in the asses. They don't fucking lose.
The Bruins just don't have Tuukka Rask right now. So that's going to be their issue is Boston's goaltending.
They're still rolling him out. Oh my God.
No, Tuukka's done.
I mean, he was a great goalie for a long, long time, but that's about time.
I forget if Tuukka. I think Tuukka's hurt right now off the top of my head. I forget, but yeah, they're rolling with Olmark as their starter.
The Bruins, though, I mean, they always do have their playmakers with Marchand and company, so they're always a scary team. And they made the playoffs too last year, right? Or they didn't they lose to the Islanders? The Bruins.
Say it again. I missed that.
The Bruins, they made the playoffs last year, right? And They lost to the Islanders. I'm pretty sure.
Yes.
Last year was just such a weird year, so Thank
I
God
don't count
that's
last year.
over. Yeah, I mean, and no, I was thinking about this. Remember when the Rangers and Lightning made the big McDonough trade, and it was like, oh,
Yes.
if the Lightning win the Cup this year, the Rangers get picks or something, and then they lose the Cup, and then the next 2 out of 3 years they win the Cups. It's just a knife in the heart there for the
Lightning are
Rangers.
going for looking to get a three-peat. But one was the bubble year, and then last year was like a COVID year. So
Yeah. So let's kind of get on New York teams with Buffalo. I mean, Buffalo is arguably the worst team in the league.
Buffalo is probably bottom three in the league. So
I mean,
there's not really much to speak on them. Their entire organization right now is just it's mind blowing that team runs like a organization as is. They are even. I just don't see them being anywhere near perfect anytime soon. Anywhere near good. They have a lot of issues they need to resolve with that front office. That whole Eichel situation is just it's just dumb. I feel so bad for Eichel.
is it that they don't want to trade him, or is it just they can't find the right package?
No, there was a lot of different skepticals going around with their team doctors and whatnot about him not getting the surgery or him getting the surgery, and they almost weren't allowing it. They didn't think it was maybe necessary, or they didn't want him to get it, and then they weren't releasing the records to other teams who wanted to know, hey, what's going on with Eichel's neck? Does he need the surgery? Does he not? They were kind of holding that with them.
Ridiculous. I mean,
Yep.
I read that there was like 9-10 teams in on Eichel, and Eichel when he plays is one of the top stars in the league. But if you're Buffalo, you got to move on from him at this point. He clearly doesn't want to be there. Just hit the reset button and get a haul back. I mean, you have rookie of the year Rasmus Dahlin there too.
It's going to be hard to get a haul with the surgery that he definitely needs, and he's going to be out for a bit for recovery from that.
What is it? A broken neck?
It's been only one other person in the NHL has gotten the surgery. I can't think of the name off the top of my head, but it's a very bad neck injury that could cause some setbacks.
Yikes. Definitely not a good look for Eichel there.
Buffalo, our Eichel, yeah.
Yeah, Buffalo's a crapshoot. So I'm just gonna pull up the divisions here and just we'll go division by division. Just give me your team and who you think your prediction for that team is going to be. We'll start off with we'll start with the Metro. Keep it in house. You have the Hurricanes, Blue Jackets, Devils,
Yep.
Islanders, Rangers, Flyers, Penguins, and Capitals. Who do you got?
Without doubt, the Islanders. Said it before early in the show, not too long ago. This is the Islanders' year to make it to the Stanley Cup. They're going to win this division. It's going to be a fun one still to watch. I know the Hurricanes are another fun team that could pull away with maybe with this division if the Islanders get some injuries, and then the Hurricanes are your next best team if the Islanders cannot get it done. But overall, I'm picking Islanders.
Yeah, I think it's going to be neck and neck with the Hurricanes and the Islanders. I'm going to go a little different. I'll take the Hurricanes to win the division, and I say Devils finish last. You said Blue Jackets, right?
Yes.
What's your expectations on Philly? Because I feel like Philly's in a weird they're like with the Rangers kind of without the young talent, of course.
Yeah, Philly's a bit of a weird team. I don't know what to really make of them. They're just kind of in a tough division themselves alone, and they're just going to need some help, I believe, with their goaltending. Carter Hart, I think, is basically this is a do or die season for him. If he doesn't pull anything off this year, forget it. He's done. He's not coming back to Philly. They're going to ship him. So Carter Hart has to make a name for himself this season. That's a kind of issue right now for the Flyers is whether or not their goaltending could keep them in games.
Yeah, so Josh has the Islanders winning the Metro. I have the Hurricanes. We'll move, sticking in the East, the Atlantic Division. This is a little bit of a top-heavy division. Bruins, Sabres, Red Wings, Panthers, Canadian Senators, Lightning, and Maple Leafs. Now, two of these teams of the division met in the Stanley Cup last year with the Canadians and the Lightning. Canadians kind of a Cinderella story a bit, getting there to getting to the Stanley Cup, but do you have the Lightning winning this one, or could you see the Maple Leafs maybe finally figuring it out?
No, again, I'm not betting on Toronto anytime soon until I don't know when. They have to prove something to me that they're not going to choke or they're going to collapse like always. To me, this is still going to be the Lightning's division. I have them going against the Islanders again as a repeat for the Eastern Conference. One team that I would like to bring up is the Florida Panthers. They are going to probably be around third in this division. They got good rotating goalies. They got a strong offense, and the only thing that would set them back would be injuries. If Ekblad or some of the big stars like Barkov get hurt for a long period of time, that's going to set them back in the division. But I think they're going to be top three.
I forgot Ekblad's still around. But yeah, I mean, Panthers, I know the divisions were a little wacky last year, but the Panthers finished 37-14 with 79 points. So definitely a team to look out for. Even the Predators were pretty average, but they're always a team to look out for. Probably the Red Wings finished last in this division for me. They're another team just out of it.
I don't know who I would pick last in that division. Atlantic, probably Buffalo again.
Oh yeah, Buffalo
probably go last place.
It's definitely going to be Buffalo and the Red Wings at the bottom. But I have I'm going to say the Lightning as well. They're just too dominant of a team, and they always are. And the crazy thing is, they won this league last year without Nikita Kucherov.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. He was hurt. Whatever. Maybe he was able to return, and of course, he comes healthy just right in time for the playoffs to start. And funny enough, he just does what he always does, just be an absolute one of the best players in the league, and just help the Lightning win the cup.
Yeah. So there's our East predictions. Going over to the Western Conference, we'll start with the Central. Arizona Coyote, or no, are they Arizona or Phoenix now? I think they're still at, they're Arizona, yeah. Blackhawks, Avalanche, Stars, Wild, Predators, Blues, and the Jets. This is probably the Avalanche for me, right?
Oh, absolutely.
I think they kind of underachieved last season, and Nathan McKinnon did not have the year everyone was expecting him to, with the Hart Trophy in mind. But yeah, for me, Avalanche pretty easily in this one.
Yeah, without a doubt, they are, I think, in my opinion, are probably one of the favorites to win the President's Trophy. I think they can have a fantastic season overall. Probably upwards over 110 points, I think, would be a safe bet for you guys to take. But yeah, Avalanche, just a great team. Their only issue I have with them right now is whether or not they're going to be okay with losing Philip Grubauer. I know they got Darcy Kemper as a nice
that's pretty
kind of going
good though.
Overall, I don't think that's going to make have a fork in the road for them. But I think that could be make or break whether or not they do well in the playoffs for a Stanley Cup.
Yeah, and you need McKinnon to just keep growing, because he is one of the best young stars in the league.
McKinnon's forget it. I mean, he's been in the league for almost a decade now, and I think he's one of my favorites for the Hart.
And he's still only like 27, 28, which is crazy. He's still so young. Also, a team to not sleep on here is the Wild. Really good season last year, 35-16 they went. Dallas is another team. I mean, they made the Stanley Cup 2 years ago, but they've kind of fallen off. Probably either Phoenix or the Blackhawks finished last in this division. The Blackhawks have just.
I want to go far and say the Blackhawks. They do now have Marc-Andre Fleury in net. They do have some key returning players. Taze is finally going to play this season, so I don't know if I would say Blackhawks last. I'm not sure exactly who I would pick last in that division, but I wouldn't pick the Blackhawks. Wild, I do, like you said before, as a team, I think they could be on the third spot there.
Man, where's Patrick Kane nowadays? Is he still there?
Yeah.
Wow, man, that was a team. That was a great Blackhawks team during their run.
Haven't made the playoffs since they won the Cup, I believe, in 2015 was the last playoff appearance.
Yikes, that team has gone downhill fast. Let's end it here with the Pacific Division: Ducks, Flames, Oilers, Kings, Sharks, the new Seattle Kraken, the Canucks, and the Golden Knights. And for me, I mean, this is either I want to say Golden Knights pretty easily here, but when do the Oilers now make that jump to where they're expected to be?
Yeah, I see Oilers coming up in number 2. For my opinion, Vegas, I think, has this division. I know maybe you want to say Oilers, which I'd be okay with, but I still see this being Vegas' division. Vegas is probably another favorite of mine to go to at least the Western Conference.
And let's talk about this new Kraken team. I mean,
Yep.
In Seattle, love the uniforms.
Oh, everything about them I love the uniforms. I love it all.
Everything I'm reading is, though, that they had a bad expansion draft and they're really not going to be, everyone's expecting them to be like Vegas, where they come out and make the Stanley Cup their first year. But,
yeah,
everything
no,
I'm reading, it's not even going to be close to that.
No, I do believe the Kraken do have a chance to surprise people to be a wild card team, but they're not winning this division. The division's too tough already. They still have other people in that division that could, be a surprise more than them. I think the Kings have a better shot than Kraken right now to be a wild card surprise, but the Kraken definitely need, that time to rebuild. They just started. They need to develop their players a little bit more. They need to figure out who's going to be there for the long haul. Then they have other offseason acquisitions they got to make going forward. But this season right now is just to be, hey, we got a new team. We got the new franchise in Seattle.
Yeah.
Let's see what they can do. And that
definitely
division.
Nice to see. I mean, just looking at the roster, got Mark Giordano, Philip Grubauer, Jordan Eberle, Colin Blackwell. Blackwell's the guy they got from the Rangers, right? They poached him off the Rangers in the Mason Appleton. So, a couple decent pieces, but
yeah, they got Grubauer. That's a nice goalie situation they got right there. That will help them win a few extra games right off the bat for sure. They got some veteran players in there. They added Jordan Eberle, who's just good. They got Giordano, that's just great. So definitely not short of just a bunch of expansion draft guys, but they have those few young guys who have the NHL experience, and they also have the key veterans with a good goalie with Philip Grubauer. So again, that's a team that could be a surprise wild card, but I just don't see it yet. They still need a few extra pieces.
Yeah, for me, I think Golden Knights take this division, followed by the Islanders. My pick for last, Islanders, excuse me, Oilers.
Yeah.
My prediction for last has got to be Anaheim. They are just not a good franchise, not a good team. And, the Canucks are a weird team too. I feel like they have some.
Again, that's the same. This team could be full of surprises. You have the Canucks who could be a surprise. Oilers could surprise and I think take the division. Kraken, we said before, Kings are still young and they have some experienced veterans too that maybe they could be a wild card. Who knows?
Yeah, and just kind of going over some award predictions here. Starting off with the Hart Trophy. This was McDavid's trophy last year, and I don't see how if he puts up another year like he did, he doesn't win it again. Another just a couple finalists, obviously Austin Matthews, Nathan McKinnon, McDavid's teammate Leon Draisaitl is a good one. So there's a lot of good ones here, but I think it's McDavid is the clear favorite at plus 200, followed by McKinnon. So my vote is Connor McDavid. I think it's pretty simple.
All right. So what I said before, maybe I gave it away already. As much as I'd like to say McDavid, I think if the Colorado Avalanche go get that President's Trophy and they're led by Nathan McKinnon and he leads the league in points and turns out to be, is a stud we're expecting him to be this season, then absolutely give me Nathan McKinnon for the Hart. Can't even get my words out right now. Nathan McKinnon for Hart.
I like it. A dark horse for me has got to be Austin Matthews. I mean, this guy he carries this Maple Leafs team, and he's so good. And
you just got to worry about his wrist. He's a great goal scorer up there and one of the top 3 goal scorers in the league. But right now, the wrist minor inconvenience, he might have some problems.
Artemi Panarin, 8th on this list, plus 1,600 odds. So gotta love our boy, the bread man. I love to see that.
That would be great. That would be a sight to behold.
That'd be kind of fun. But overall, it's nice to see hockey back. Also, it is worth noting hockey with ESPN this year. No more ESPN, no more NBC,
TNT, TBS, the whole new TV deal. Let's see how it is. We know how ESPN is in general with hockey, not giving it too much attention, not really caring about it, kind of always brushing it to the side. So I'm excited to see. I have my ESPN Plus subscription, so I'm going to watch a lot more games on there for sure.
Oh, that's cool that you can so ESPN Plus is going to have all the games.
ESPN Plus is going to have a lot of the games. Some of the featured games at night, probably usually a West Coast game, rivalry night. I'm not exactly sure how the TV deal works with who gets who on ESPN Plus, but
So, I'm looking at the broadcasters here. Sean McDonough is going to be ESPN's top play-by-play guy for hockey. Now, if you're ESPN, how do you not have Barry Melrose as your lead color guy? I mean, this guy has just single-handedly held down the ESPN hockey desk for the longest time. And I don't even know if he's going to be I'm sure he will be an analyst somewhere, but it looks, I'm reading here, they got Rick DiPietro. Looks like they gave Mark Messier a massive contract to come into ESPN. So, hey, I mean, listen, if the broadcast is good, I don't really care, but it's gonna be weird without good old Doc Emmerich on the broadcast for NBC.
yeah, Doc's been a little retired for a bit. But yeah, I mean, it's a new era for hockey. I hope it turns out to be good. I hope it makes it more exciting for a lot of people to experience it, because a lot of people look at hockey and they look the other way. So I'm hoping that ESPN does a good job with promoting it. They got to get the young fans' attentions early so we can get a bigger fan base here in the NHL.
We will see how hockey season goes. We will, we'll try and maybe do some maybe like a mid-season kind of recap so far of hockey later on in the year. But let's go Rangers, right, Josh?
Absolutely. Let's go Rangers. Hope for the best. That's about it for the Rangers. You got to hope for the best and hope that the injuries don't pile up.
We'll see what happens with the NHL season. But like we said, it starts tomorrow night, 7 o'clock. So thank you all so much for listening. Make sure to follow us on all our social media, TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook at Sports Depth Pod. That's Sports DEPT Pod. We'll have multiple baseball podcasts coming out over the next few weeks along with NFL. But thank you all so much for listening, and we'll see you next time.